Let's give you an insight of some of the creative process that I have to go through. First of all, I'm dragging in a narration scene that I did earlier. I'm just putting it to where I want it on the timeline. And let's have a quick look at it to see if it's what I want. Make sure I've got the right scene. Now we're at a bit... Yes, I've got the right scene, so that's what I want there. I'm just coming back now and look at the timeline. I can tell by looking at the timeline that the music bed here is too loud. So I'm just changing that with one of the essential sound presets to have it as a balanced background music. You'll hear the difference when I play it now. That's much better. That won't overwhelm my audio when I'm speaking. So I'm just moving my audio up to the active audio timeline, putting another music bed underneath it, and then changing it so that it doesn't overwhelm my audio. I'll play it through in a second and you'll hear the difference. I'm also changing my dialogue to give it a bit more punch. So that's the audio part. That's the first thing I work on. I always work on the audio first. I don't know why, it's just the particular sequence that I've done. Now we're at a bit that I like. I enjoy the larger bits much more than I do the fiddly little bits. This is... Yes, I'm happy with that. The next thing I need to do is we need to just add the narration to the bottom left of the actual screen. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to use some special effects on our timeline. So I'm just going to trim off the bits that I don't need at the front. I'm just coming back to where I'm looking to the left. I'm actually looking at a fixed point in space, but I know that if I look at this particular angle, it looks like I'm looking at where I'm working once I've done the added this as an overlay, which we're going to do in a couple of seconds. So yep, that's what I want. I've trimmed it off, we're all ready to go. So what we need to do is we need to add our effects. The first one we're adding is the crop effect. What that does is it allows me to trim the video down to just the bits that I'm going to chroma key out. The next one we're doing is the actual chroma key effect, which is called in Premiere Ultra Key. So I'm just dropping that on the timeline as well. Those are the two effects that we're going to use now. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to crop it out. So we crop in from the left. I don't need any of that I'm moving in. We'll crop in from the right or the top. I don't need any of that I'm moving in. We'll crop in from the right. Don't need any of that, so I'll crop it in. That's why I haven't got a full green screen behind me, because I don't use all of it. I just crop out the bits that I don't need. Now I'm going to position it and reduce it and move it, although I typed in 650 like an idiot. It should have been 65 to reduce it to 65%. That's just too big. So that's where I want it. Now we're going to move it to where I want it, which will be in the bottom left-hand corner. So we've moved that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to actually do the green screen. First of all, I'm going to set it into alpha channel, and then I'm going to set aggressive, and I'm going to pick the color that I want to key out. Now I always use alpha channel because everything white is what's going to stay, everything black is what's going to be transparent. So the idea here is to get the black as even and as black as possible, and that's about as even as I'm going to get it with my lighting. So I need to just take down those tones on the left a bit, which I'll do with the shadow control. That takes part of them out. Then the pedestal control will take quite a lot of it out. There we go. And then I need to alter the highlight just to take some more out. And then I need a bit more shadow just to take the bit more shadow out, take the back of the chair out. We're nearly there. The choke just trims up the edges a bit. I can see that in the background I've still got some of the chair behind me, so I'm just going to alter the contrast and the midpoint just to completely take them out. That's it. I've got a nice black and white image. That's what I want, a nice solid black. Everything black is transparent. Back to the composite image, and there we go. Just have a quick playthrough to make sure it's what I want, how it looks, and how it sounds. A bit that I like. I enjoy the larger bits much more than I do. It's very jerky at the moment. That's because I'm using a lot of processing power. So I'm just going to come back, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to render it. Render it is to turn it from quarter quality, 25% quality that I'm doing now, into full quality, so we can actually see it, what it's like when it plays back. So we'll just render the section that I'm working on. No point in rendering the whole movie when I'm just working on a little section. So we'll just render the bit that I put in. These are very high quality files that I'm working with, so everything is shot in 4K, but it's actually going to be a 1080 output. But it's the old saying, the higher the quality going in, the better the output coming out. Right, that's rendered. Larger bits much more than I do the fiddly. You can hear it much smoother now. This is a piece of the upper deck that I'm just cutting out and bending. The small fiddly bits, again, I can't stress this often enough. They're for a much younger, more agile person, I think. I'm just going to trim off the bits on the end that I don't need as well. This actual section is going to be 35 minutes long, and as you can see, I'm only just about 5 minutes in, and so far this has taken me 4 hours today, just doing all these little bits, adding the narration, trimming, just getting it as I want it as the final touches. Person, I think.